What's good, everybody? This is Andeep, and today I want to talk about 5 things that I want to see either as DLC in Super Mario Party or in a potential sequel that could come out next year. So, overall, I really do like Super Mario Party. It's really fun. It's a good throwback to the original style gameplay. However, I don't know if I like it as much as most of the GameCube and Nintendo 64 titles. So, with that being said, I feel like these 5 adjustments to the game could make the game feel a bit better and maybe make it just as good as the older entries. So, first off, this one's kind of obvious. This is the main thing. More boards that are larger. So, Super Mario Party currently only has 4 boards. I really hope that they intend on adding like 1 or 2 boards as DLC, because 4 boards isn't the worst thing in the world. I will admit it's not this obnoxiously awful thing that a lot of other people are making it out to be. But obviously, more boards it would be nice. I mean, we're spending $60 on a game, and it would just be nice to have a little bit more multiplayer content to play with our friends. Also, it'd be nice if some of the boards were a little bit bigger. I'm not saying we need huge boards, but some boards, like for example, the final board, which is Kamek's Tantalizing Tower, that board especially, also the fruit board, they're both pretty small compared to the other two, so it'd be nice if we got like 1 or 2 boards that are a bit bigger than the others and offered a little bit more variety. But overall, yeah, just add another board or 2, that'd be great. Or if we do get a Super Mario Party 2, hopefully that game would have like at least 6 boards to kind of make up for Super Mario Party only having 4. Secondly, I'd also want to see a few gameplay improvements. I know this is kind of like a generalized thing to want, but 2 things come to mind. First off, slightly faster gameplay. Games feel like they take slightly longer than they would in the older days of Mario Party. I feel like some of the animations or just some of the actual just events that happen feel like they drag on a little bit longer. Like when you talk to Toad to get a star, and when she moves away to another space, it feels like it just takes a little bit longer than it should. Not that that's the biggest deal in the world, but I feel like you could get away with... I mean, think about it. There are a lot of stars that get collected in one game. There could be up to like 10 to 20 stars in a single game. If you were to reduce the time of that, like that can make up and allow probably like another like 2 to 3 turns to be played during the same amount of time. So hopefully that ends up being a thing. The other thing that comes to mind, actually, I'm thinking of a third thing. The third thing that I'm thinking about before I get into the second, which is silly, but while I'm on the topic of turns, we should have the ability to play more than 20 turns on all the boards. Now, I'm not saying we need to play up to 50 like previous games. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't give us that option, but the Kamek stage lets you play up to 30 turns, so why can't we play up to 30 on the other turns? I hope that they allow 30 turns on all 4 boards and not just the Kamek stage. But the other thing that I want to see improved is maybe balancing the buddy or like the ally spaces, because I feel like the game revolves around that, which isn't an awful thing on its own to have a new mechanic that takes a lot of priority in the gameplay. But considering that a lot of it comes into luck, whether you land on these spaces or not, it can really dictate early on who's going to end up having an upper hand and who wins the game. Because each ally you get adds an additional 1 to 2 spaces to your dice roll, and if you have 3 allies, you're going to be guaranteed getting at least 3, if not up to 6, added spaces to whatever you end up rolling, and it feels a little overpowered, so I hope that they would find a way to say, hey, maybe you can cap the allies at a certain thing, or you can make it so that they don't roll, or I don't know. I feel like they could find a way to balance them a bit more, either in a sequel, or, I mean, even if they just added, like, an option or 2, like filters or something like that to put on in the game to make them not as overpowered, or like I said in a sequel, just rework how they actually play. I feel like that would go a long way to make the game just a bit fairer and more entertaining. Third, and this one is very obvious, online board games. So you can play online in Super Mario Party, but it's super limited. You can only play, I think, like 10 mini games online, and they're only mini games. Like, it's just a simple mini game tournament, and that's it. So I'm not saying we need to be able to play against random people in terms of the actual board game. We don't need that. I mean, it would be cool, but like I said, that's not mandatory. We don't need an online multiplayer mode that requires you to sit down for at a minimum 45 minutes, if not up to like 2 hours. That's just kind of ridiculous. So we should at least be able to play with friends, though. So I have a few of my best, like all my best friends like don't live anywhere near me anymore. So it would be nice to be able to play online with them in Mario Party. It'd just be cool, because I basically have to wait until we all come home to like the same location in order to play. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are in that same boat now. I feel like a lot of us are just older now. We're not kids living in a neighborhood where we can all, like, almost every day just go over and play Mario Party. Our time is very limited. We don't live near each other anymore, so yeah, online multiplayer with friends, make it happen, Nintendo. That'd be awesome. Fourth, wow, this video is going really fast. So fourth, more motion control games, because some of the best mini games in Super Mario Party, and to an extent even Mario Party 8, are games that utilize the motion controls. When I played with my friends, so I brought my Switch down to my friend's apartment in the city last week, and we played Super Mario Party, and it was a ton of fun. Especially, I think the best minigame we played, and this is the minigame that everyone always talks about, and it's always in all the gameplay videos, it's the meat game, the cube of meat game, where you fry a cube of meat on a pan, you flip the pan, or like you flip the meat by like whacking the pan up. It works wonderfully. Like, there are a lot of motion controlled games that just work really well with the motion controls. Like, I'm almost impressed of how well they worked, which is kind of silly because we've seen motion controls for so long in Nintendo games. But I don't know, I feel like we haven't seen motion controls like these work so well and feel so natural in a game in so long, like since the Wii days, that, I don't know, I felt a little impressed. So hopefully if we do see Super Mario Party 2, or if we do get more actual mini games added as DLC, I would want them to say, hey, we added maybe 20 new mini games, and at least half of them, if not more than them, are completely motion control based. Like, they use the gyro sensor. Yeah, basically the gyro sensor, because I think most of those games do utilize the gyro capabilities of the Joy-Con, and since we can't play with Pro controllers or other controllers, really push the experience of saying, hey, your Joy-Con is now maybe like a spatula or something like that. Make it feel like we're actually holding something, and that the motion controls with the Joy-Cons exclusively feel warranted, because those mini games were a lot of fun, and I want to see more of them. Last but not least, and I know this might not sound like that big of a deal, but to me it kind of is, I want to see more unique themings for the game. Like, okay, like not just the boards. I mean, obviously I want more unique themings for the boards. I remember some of the themes in some of the older boards, like Fair Square in Mario Party 6, when it was kind of like a casino style stage where there was just lottery stuff everywhere, and you just bet and try to get as many coins before you got to the center of the board, in which you could buy up to like 5 stars at a time, depending on how much they cost. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. So, first off, yeah, more unique themes for boards. Like, if we got another casino board, I'd be totally cool with that. But I also just want to see the game itself, just the general theme of the game, be more entertaining or interesting than it just being, hey, look, it's a Mario Party. Super Mario Party felt like it was trying to sort of replicate the theme of the first game, where it was all these characters wanting to be the superstar, and they throw a party to see who can win the most games, essentially. Like, it's basically a repeat of the original game, which is fine in its own right, but I hope that the second game, because Mario Party 2 had the theme of, what was it? It was like a stage or a play or something like that, and each board had its own theme based off of, like, a different genre of play or something. All the characters got dressed up. It was cool. I'm also thinking of of Mario Party 5, when they had all the star spirits from Paper Mario, actually, of all things. They had those as the hosts, and the entire game had like a space/dreamy theme to it. I'd like to see really cool themes. Mario Party 7 had the cool theme where you're on a cruise ship, and it was basically this entire global adventure, and you're just going from world to world. So like I said, add a really cool theme to this new game, or this one is specifically for Super Mario Party 2. It isn't as much for DLC as like the other things I mentioned, because you can't really just that would basically be reworking the entire menu and assets and everything. That just wouldn't happen. But as I said, if we do see a Super Mario Party 2 next year, or whenever that ends up happening, I really hope they do add a really unique theme to it. I don't know what it would be, but just something to make the game feel fresh from an outsider point of view. But that's going to cover it. Those are all the things that I want to see in a Super Mario Party 2. Overall, like I said, I really like this game. If you guys are interested in it and you have friends to play with, I highly recommend picking it up. It might not be as good as some of the GameCube and N64 entries, but I think it's definitely worth playing. You'll have a lot of fun with your friends. Regardless, definitely pick it up. It's a ton of fun. But yeah, those are the 5 things that I want to see. Let me know in the comment section I was about to say the 5 things you want to see, but just in general, anything that you guys want to see as DLC or in a Super Mario Party 2, let me know in the comments below. That's going to cover it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.